Hi guys, my name is Mulele. I'm back with another video. So in the previous video, we dealt with what got me into programming and the likes. And I said I'm gonna take you guys through or demystify the idea that programming is very difficult. So in this video, before we actually jump into code and all of those complex worlds, what I would just want to do is just go through the process of, well, not necessarily the process, but the history of creating a computer, where the first computer was created, and so forth. So just going down memory lane is to what got us to where we are at the moment in the world and what gives us the benefits that we are currently benefiting. So here, what you see is basically what do you call pictures of, well, I googled first computer in the world, and this is more or less what you'd find when you're looking at the pictures of the first world computer. So this thing, apparently, according to research, used to be the size of a particular room. So imagine your bedroom or your kitchen or so forth being a computer. So this is how big this thing was. um, so that's basically the history around that. And over time, things changed. Then we started having more modern, personal computers that we are using, and so forth, so forth. So what I'm just going to do now is swap into another tab where I go through the basic history actually. So I found this nice little link. If you are interested in reading these details, just follow that link at the top. So here they're talking a bunch of garbage, or not garbage, but they specify a lot of information. So I'm just gonna skim through this particular what do you call article. If you have time, just read it for yourself. But then here they're talking about let me see. There's different classification of computers. So if you want to know the different classes of computers, you can go there. But then the first mechanical computer was created by a guy called Charles Babbage in 1922. So basically, what do you call that's when the first computer was introduced, but then it didn't give rise to the more modern computers. So that's basically what they're saying there. So there's a couple of nuances that came in that makes it different from what the current computer is, but definitely that guy paved what do you call the way for what a computer looks like to us at the moment. So there, when they talk about the word computer, when was it introduced? Actually, it was introduced in 1913 in a book, apparently, that was written by Richard Bainwaiter. So that was, what do you call, way back in days when you think about it, 1613 versus where we are now, right now at, what do you call, year 2022. So that's far back. Okay. So first mechanical or automatic compute engine concept. So as mentioned, it was introduced by that particular guy, the gentleman. And then there was a couple of things that happened to that computer, and here it looks like it went to a museum. So if you stay in London or trying to visit London, and you are passionate about this thing, just go visit the museum and see what the computer looks like. So that's that. Still on the general, what do you call, purpose computer, they're still mentioning that guy. If you look at this thing, it looks like more like a vehicle engine of some sort. It looks like pistols and all of that, but this was actually a computer. So that's how far back things go with regards to the history of this thing. Uh, so there we're looking at a computer or a machine that can store or record information. So that apparently was introduced in 1890. So this guy was working in 1813 or so, but the first computer that stored information was in 1890. But what this thing actually did was it was using, let me just confirm the details there. It was using punch cards. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't get my facts wrong. But then it was using punch cards to store information. So basically, it will poke holes on a card. So the what do you call, the presence of a hole means something. The inexistence of a hole after a certain distance means something. So that comes from an electrical concept of the presence of current and no current and all of that. So that's what happens, or that's what gave rise to that. Uh, the first programmable computer apparently is the Z1, and this thing actually understands something what do you call it? It's called binary programmable computer, electromechanical binary programmable computer. So as I mentioned, electric. So it was through the presence of electricity or not electricity, but then electric current, the presence of it or not. Then looks like there was a couple of upgrades there. There was a Z3. Then the first concept of what was considered a modern computer. So this is the Turing machine. So this thing was actually developed by a mathematician. His biography mentions a lot of things, but he was a mathematician, computer scientist, logician, crypto analyst, philosopher, and a theoretical biologist. So this guy came up with a machine that could basically run through programs and all of that. Then, while we go deep into history and talk about Alan Turing, this lady here, I didn't see his name in this article, but then this is Ada Lovelance. So this is what you call, according to research, they say that this lady was the first one after working on the work that was done by Charles Babbage. Uh, he then developed the research into what you call the mathematical research into what is now a programmable computer. So basically, she found a way to actually program a computer, and that's the story here. If you look at Ada Lovelace, was known mother of computers, so she's known as the mother of computers. Um, there's that. So she was a mathematician and writer as well. There they mention what do you call it, that she was working on what Babbage what do you call proposed. Ada Lovelace discovered that this is where Ada Lovelace discovered that a computer could follow a sequence of instructions that is a program. So that's where programming actually stemmed from. But if you look at it, this whole what you call space started from a mathematical background. So most of the people who actually gave rise to these things were mathematicians of some form, essentially. So Turing machine, I tried looking for the pictures, but here they just showing me, power diagrams and all of that. Doesn't really give much details as to where I wanted to get to. So cool. Then that's computers for you. Then there was a couple of developments. Da 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 da. I'm just gonna skip through that. Just read it when you have time on your side. Then first commercial computer was actually introduced in 1942. So 1942 to where we are now is not that long actually. But when you look at this is when IBM introduced their first computer. This was 1953. Things happened. The first computer that had a RAM actually was in 1955. So a RAM is a compute component essentially in the computer. Well, it's a component in the computer that is being used to temporarily store information that is required by the CPU and so forth, so forth. So I'm just gonna skim through that. First mini computer was developed in 1960. Okay, I don't know what that computer was doing. First computer to go to mass market was 1964. Cool. That's fun. Then Apple came. As usual, you'd expect them to be there. Okay, then IBM developed the portable computer so you could move it around. So typically it would be something along this lines, essentially. So you should be able to move it around and all of that. Apple came. Then IBM came with a personal computer. This was 1981. So 1981 to where we are right now. Let's see. Let's see. 2022 minus 1981. So that's like 41 years back. So people only started owning computers after it was released here. And yeah, that's a bunch of things you can go read and see when the other companies followed suit. So your leading companies like Toshiba, Dell, so forth came into the party and started releasing computers and all of that. Currently, when you look at what you call the computer is, it's a very, very small device. What was I doing here? Okay, that's the Turing machine. Okay, this I'll cover in the next video. So this is basically getting into the details now with regards to programming. But what I wanted to search was world smallest computer. We have things like Raspberry Pi and all of that. If you want to Google it, just check what a Raspberry Pi is. It basically is a computer that is literally very small. But then now just wanted to find out what smallest computer looks like. Yeah, that's that. Was this IBM just unveiled the world's smallest computer there? The Veg. Apparently, it's called the Veg. Let's see what's happening with the Veg. Smallest computer, this was 2018. Probably by now there's something that came out again that's way smaller than that. So that's it. So if you wanted to find out information and all of that, the best way to do it is go to google.com. Yeah, google.com now. Google.com. Search whatever that you want around the history of computers and all of that. In the next video, what I'll do is jump straight into now studying to make our way into the programming world and the programming languages and all of that. So this was just basics around computers and all of that. I'm not particularly familiar with this history, so I learned a lot while doing this video, and I didn't prepare, so to say, slides or anything along those lines. I am not planning on creating slides for this particular set of videos. So I'm just going to go through with Google at times and all of that. If this doesn't work, just let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you'd recommend, except creating a formal presentation by so meaning slides and all of that. So cool. Have an awesome one. If you want to contact me, you know how to find me. My name is Dikarabo Mulele. Find me on all social medias that you can find on YouTube. And sure to DM me, post something towards me, or tag me on your post if necessary, and I'll gladly respond or reply to whatever questions or comments that you might have. Thank you very much. Have a good one.